Welcome to the Real Estate Syndication Show. Whether you are a seasoned investor or building a new real estate business, this is the show for you. Whitney Sewell talks to top experts in the business. Our goal is to help you master real estate syndication. And now your host, Whitney Sewell.
This is your daily real estate syndication show. I am your host, Whitney Sewell. Today, our guest is Powell Chee. Thanks for being on the show, Powell.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, Powell has an impressive history. He's grown his portfolio very fast. He had his first purchase of a single-family home in 2015, and the second purchase of a 40-unit property, and a third purchase of a 61-unit. And I'm looking forward to getting into the details of how he grew that, how he purchased those, and what his plans are next. And Powell, would you give us a little more detail about your background and how you got into real estate?
Sure, absolutely. So I started real estate investing about 2013, and I really started with my brother was running a private lending business, and so I would raise money for that business. So I really just started raising money as my first thing. But then quickly, I would say in a few short years, that business started to dry up in the San Francisco Bay Area. And me living in Los Angeles and doing that remotely raising money, I really felt like my next step was to own property. So I looked at purchasing. I bought a first single family house, like you mentioned, in 2015, almost exactly 3 years ago. And that house has gone pretty successful. I've enjoyed it. I've really saw that the power in real estate by purchasing that first single family house. But I quickly saw that scale wise, I was not able to get up to the scale that I want to get to as fast as I would be able to get to if I really continued down the single family route. So I transitioned about 13 months after that into buying my first multifamily unit. It's a 40 unit, like you mentioned, in Indianapolis. Again, so I still live in Los Angeles, purchased it in Indianapolis, and got that under contract and purchased in January of 2017. So that was about 13, 14 months after my first purchase. And then after that, it was another purchase almost exactly a year after that, which was January of 2018. So just earlier this year, and was able to put that one and purchase that one, 61 units. And and now on to looking for my next one.
So I want to ask a few questions about you. Well, you're talking about raising capital in 2013, raising money for your brother's business. But had you had any experience in raising capital, raising money from investors before that?
No, the answer is no. So I have had no experience in terms of raising money, no experience really in terms of real estate prior to that. And so really it was just, that was all about building my network. Going out and meeting people face to face, going out to meetups, talking to people, and really just finding out who would be a proper type of investor that would be interested in doing and lending money in that type of business. And so I was able to find a good amount of people. I was able to raise, I think I raised a 1.4 million in total during that time. So not all at one time, but 1.4 million over a series.
That's very impressive, though. No experience in real estate, and then raise 1.4 million. That's quite impressive.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that. Thank you.
So how did you, give us some tips on building our network then? What was your tactics, then? Because a lot of people listening are going to be trying to raise capital, but they probably feel like they don't have much experience in real estate. And so I feel like you could probably speak to them.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing that you need is you do need to know what you're doing or talking about, right? You need to have some background, some education in terms of what you're doing. What is the process of whatever project that you're going to be on? So if it's a single family house, if it's a multifamily, if it's any other type of real estate investment, you need to know what are the steps that a investor would take. And so that is something that you need to know forwards and backwards. But then secondly is you want to present it as that this is an opportunity for them to invest, but you don't want to pressure people into giving you money. That's not something that you're going to be successful at saying, how can I get your money? That's really not the way you want to come across. You want to present it as an opportunity. And then you want to as you present it as an opportunity for them? Do you want to, just comfortably lead them in a way that is helpful, for them?
Nice. So you also mentioned living in LA and raising money remotely. What does that mean?
I guess what I meant is that the properties themselves and the private lending that we were doing was in the San Francisco Bay Area, whereas I was living in LA, and the people that I was meeting was face-to-face were people in Los Angeles, and we were going to be investing in something that was done in San Francisco, which is, it's about 6 hours away as far as the drive time. So it was a little remote in that, but people are familiar with San Francisco who usually live in LA. So it's not unfamiliar territory, but it is not in their backyard.
Nice. So you purchased the first, your single family home, from without partners, correct?
Mm-hmm. That is correct. Just on my own. And
then tell us about the 40 unit apartment complex. How did you have the confidence to go from a single family home to a 40 unit building?
Yeah, that is really due to education, right? So you need to be educated. So I, joined a mentoring group and figuring out how to, from the sort of the nuts and bolts of it, like how do you go about purchasing a property? How do you reach out to brokers? What are some of the steps? How do you evaluate a deal? All those are definitely questions that you're going to come across. But I had found that, people had certainly done it before I did. And so I knew it could be done. And so by joining these mentoring educational groups, you get a lot of those questions answered. And then it's a matter of really just taking action, just taking the next step, which is probably calling a broker, finding out inventory, finding, figuring out your markets that you want to be in. And as you're taking these steps and generally taking each step, a day at a time, very quickly, you're in the process of potentially sending letters of intent and let LOIs out. And then, things just kind of happen. And, pretty soon you'll find yourself that after a few months of doing this and analyzing deals and really putting your nose to the grindstone, you'll find yourself that you'll be able to close a deal pretty soon.
So being interested in a market at such a distance like that, obviously, you purchased 101 units now in Indianapolis and you're in California. So tell us how you found those properties.
Yeah. Okay. So, initially when I was looking at a market, I was looking at 3 different markets. I narrowed myself down to Kansas City, Indianapolis, and Memphis were the 3 markets that I chose. And once I was able to figure out the markets, I started quickly looking at the inventory, which means reaching out to brokers is how I did it. Now, there's a number of different ways you can do it with letter campaigns or cold calling, things like that. But I felt like the best way for me to do it was to reach out to brokers themselves, establish a relationship, and talk about the inventory they have, and really just try to work those relationships to eventually finding a property. So that's the route I chose. Reaching out to as many brokers as I can, valuing their time, and then eventually finding the one that came through and went forward with it.
Can you give us some pointers on developing that relationship at a long distance? Obviously you can't go meet them for coffee every week, so give us some pointers.
Yeah. So initially what I did is to reach out to the brokers, calling them, right? Talking to them on the phone, explaining to who you are and what you're at, what type of properties you're looking for. And you want to be very truthful, and you want to be very forthcoming about what you have. And so if you say, I'm looking for a property, and in my case, it was somewhere around $500,000 to $1 million purchase price. I'm looking for something that is probably a 10 to 25 unit was around what I was telling them. Okay. And that seemed to be right in their exactly what they were picturing. And then and asked them to send me a deal. Now they would probably send me a deal that they haven't been able to close. It's been open for a long time. What I would do then is to quickly analyze that deal, analyze the numbers on that deal, and then get them back something in writing, explaining to them what my position is on this particular deal. Now, it's unlikely that I would be very interested in that very first deal. So I would just tell them, the reason I want to probably pass on this deal, or the purchase price that I could come in on this deal would be blank. And I would explain why. Because of this, I feel like they're missing something on their numbers. I feel like, this was too high, or this was too low, or their expenses were, too low. They should have been around this range. And that gave the broker something that coming back to them very quickly, say the next day, that they can say, okay, well, he's actually taking this very serious. He's taking the time to analyze this deal and to give me a proper evaluation of that deal. And then I would also ask them right away, what other deals do you have that I could take a look at, right? So now they're trying to send me more. So I would say I pass on the first one, but give me your next one or your next two, and I will evaluate these deals very fast again, get them back something in writing within a day, and tell them this is where I would be able to come in at. Is this something that you think I should come in with an LOI or not? And that kind of respects their time, so that you're getting the communication back and forth, but it respects their time, and they will quickly just continue to send you a deal, and then you again just repeat the process and value their time. If you value their time, they're going to see respect, and they're going to try to present you with opportunities.
No, I think that's great advice. Quick responses. Yeah, shows that you're right on it. You didn't waste their time. I like that a lot. So give us some other pointers as far as how did you build a team there? I assume you're not self-managing. So, who else do you have on your team? How did you find them at such a long distance like that?
Yeah, so really quickly, you're going to have to start looking at the property management. That's going to be one of your primary boots on the ground, your primary network out there that's going to really help you. So right away, when you're calling those brokers, as you're evaluating those deals that you're sending back to them, and you're talking to that broker and say, hey, I'm probably not interested on this deal, or I'm interested in this deal if it's at this price. You want to quickly ask them who would be a good manager for this property, right? And then you're just asking them that all the time. Who would be a good property manager for this property? Who else would be a good property manager? So you want to get two names from them, and then those referrals will really help you down the line. And then you're calling them, and you're asking them those property managers who is good inspectors, who they know is good inspectors, who they know is good contractors, who they know is the good any type of person that you would kind of come in contact with, lawyers or anything like that. And so you're just kind of building out a referral network is really what you're trying to do. And the more you talk and the more you reach out to people, the more that you'll find names that pop up here and there and really come up to the surface.
Who's been the most important team member as far as being at a distance like that?
Yeah, it's my property manager. They're the people that I'm going to talk with every week. They're going to be people that they're going to have the boots on the ground. They're going to know the area certainly better than I do. They're going to know the tenants better than I do. They're going to know who and the range of the rents that they're going to be able to get, right? Because you're going to ask them, what type of tenant is going to come in here? What type of rents am I going to be able to get? And so you're going to want to know those answers very fast, and they'll be able to help you with, areas that are up and coming, areas that you probably should avoid, things like that. They can help you out with.
So on the 40 unit, where at in the process did you actually take the time to travel there to see it?
I did not travel there until it was under contract, and it was under contract and it had been inspected. That's the time that I traveled out there. So I was already under contract, already got inspected, and then I flew out there to meet with my property manager and my inspector, and that was the first time that I'd actually visited the property. Now, that being said, I asked probably 3 management companies to go take a look at it from the outside and the area and tell me about it. Obviously the broker and, anybody else that I came in contact with at that time, whether I don't think my lawyer necessarily knew the area, but, just anybody that I could reach out to that would be able to go to the area or tell me about the area I would ask about.
Nice. So, what about deal flow now? Are you still relying on the same brokers, still relying on those relationships, or has that changed now that you've developed more team members, more relationships in that market?
Yeah. So I don't rely necessarily on the same broker that brought me that very first one. I believe that broker was actually a residential broker. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that broker is more of a residential broker, and it wasn't really it just didn't seem like it had gone through the same channels as a commercial broker. So I don't really rely on that same person anymore, but I do have more contacts through the commercial side now that I have some experience, that I have some closes under my belt, more people are apt to say, okay, well, that he's actually a legitimate person in this business who will close on properties. And that makes me, have a little more clout in the game. I would say have my name is a little stronger. My network is stronger, obviously, now that I've been there for a longer time. So with those closes, your network just continues to build and the momentum just builds on itself.
So tell us how you structured the 40 unit and the 61 unit.
So yeah, the first one, my 40 unit, I really wanted to do myself. And so I did it by myself. And the reason why I wanted to do it by myself was first of all, I needed to prove that this model could actually be done, so that people it's not a scam, right? It's not a scam that people are actually making money on apartment buildings. And second of all, I needed to prove actually that I could do it myself. So not only was it a legitimate thing, but that I could do it myself. That's something I needed to prove. And thirdly, I just didn't really want to take anybody's money at that time, because I figured, there's the likelihood is that I'm going to make a mistake here or there. And I didn't want to make a mistake with anybody else's money. If it was going to be a mistake, that it's got to be something that it's my money and it's my money on the line, not somebody else's money. So that's just me. That's how I did it. Now, the second time when that came around, I said, well, now I'm a little more open to bringing on other investors. Now, not everybody. I really just wanted to bring in a small group of friends and family, people that know me. And actually, a lot of them had seen what I was doing at this time, and they trusted me. They want to, they're open to investing. They wanted to get involved with my next one. They were excited about how my first one was going. And so they had said, yeah, well, let me know when your second one comes around. I'd be interested. So that one is a partnership with close friends and family, people all that I've known for a decade. And so that's how it is. But I would say on my third ones, it will probably not just be open to friends and family. Anything I do nowadays is going to be a syndication.
So how much, I guess how much did you have to raise for the 61 unit, or how much, did you allow investors come in of the total raise?
Yeah, sure. So the total raise on that was $475,000. So between 4 investors, it can end up being $475,000.
Nice. And then, so going forward, tell me about how you plan to structure deals.
Yeah. So going forward, they're all going to be syndications now, especially anything that I'm looking at is generally in that 100+ size. And that means that obviously I'm gonna have to raise money. I don't have all that type of money just sitting in the bank ready to deploy. So it's something that I'll need to raise money. But I've also, not only on that side, I've put together a lot more partnerships with people that can help me along the way, so that I don't have to be the one to find the deal, analyze the deal, close the deal, run the deal, and raise money for the deal. That ends up being a lot. And I did that all on my first 2, but I'm realizing that as I go bigger, if I want to get a 100 unit or 150 unit, that's going to be a sizable task and very, if you want to scale, which is the reason why I got into this, it's tough to do by yourself. And so that's not what I want to do by myself. And it's not really a very repeatable process, at least for me. I need to bring in other people to help me along that process so that I can continue to purchase other ones, because it does take a while to land these deals. So
tell us a little bit about the partnerships that you've developed and how we can also develop partnerships to grow our business.
Sure. And one of the partnerships just came to me from my meetup group. So I run a meetup group here in Los Angeles, and one of the guys there was also looking in Indianapolis, and he was closing some deals in Indianapolis. They were smaller deals, but we started to look at very similar, basically like the same properties. He started sending me a deal, and he said, "Hey, did you see this property? It's over here." And he sent me like his analysis on it, and I was like, "Oh, his analysis is pretty good. It's pretty much like we're probably on the same page about where we're thinking." And I said, "Oh, okay." I took a look at it, and then I sent him another deal. I said, "Hey, I don't know if you looked at it, but there's another deal over here." And just because we were very open with each other, we started thinking, hey, we don't need to kind of compete for these properties. Let's partner up, and maybe we can both close these properties. And so that's what we started to do. And eventually it became a process where now we're very, very open with what's going on with any of these deals that are coming our way. And so we're very quickly sending deals his way. I'm sending deals his way. He's sending deals my way. I'm also finding that he's very good on the analytical side and very good at analyzing that deal. So I don't need to spend all my time analyzing the deal. That can be something that I can rely on him to do, and he can rely on me to put together the team and to get the deal kind of closed. And that's where I'm focusing a little bit more. He's focusing a little more on finding the deal and analyzing the deal. And I'm just finding that has cleared up a lot of the bottleneck, which was me of, here's 6 deals, got to analyze them. Okay, that's going to take me a little while to do. He does it faster. He does it better. Let him do that. Let me go find the team to put this together to make this deal happen. So
I've heard it time and time again, and I've even seen it happen in many people's businesses where, the guy that wants to do it all himself, eventually all the work just piles up and he can't get it all done, right? He can't communicate to investors well.
Yeah.
He can't communicate with brokers well. And he gets so far behind and eventually either even quits or, the business stops growing, right? But the other guys, just like you're talking about, at first, I hear a guy say, well, I don't want to give part of my business away, but it's more so, you're going to grow so much faster when you can be focused on one part of it.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of great qualities that other people bring. I'm finding even though I haven't partnered with any of these people necessarily on a deal, it's very likely that I'm going to on my next deal because I'm bringing in other people that are good at asset management. And that's something that I've done, but it's not something I would say I'm the best at. There's other people that can be better at. So I might be bringing in somebody who has a good asset manager to help me run that deal, so that now me and my other partner who's good at analyzing the deal, we can go find another deal. Let somebody else run it, right? And let them run it and let them run it well because that's what they're good at. And let's go find another deal, and I'll put together the team. And so I don't need to be bottlenecked with making sure that I'm running that asset all the time, making sure I'm on top of the property manager, projections, talking to investors and things like that. I can go out and just more work on finding the deals and putting together the team. So that's been my general sense of direction now is making this smoother, faster, bringing on people who are better at their particular skill or more experienced with their particular skill. And then all coming together and then just kind of repeating the process a lot faster. And that's what I'm concentrating on now.
Powell, what advice would you give someone that's just starting out in the multifamily syndication business? Kind of like you are, but maybe they've got a few single family homes, but they really want to scale. What advice would you give them?
I would say the first thing is you got to get educated, right? So whether that's listening to podcasts like this one, obviously this is a great resource. There's other podcasts, there's forums to join. There's a lot of free advice out there that can really help you sort of set what it is you're going to be doing and some of the just quick knowledge, general knowledge. But then you might have to join a group. You might have to join somebody or find a mentor or someone that can help you answer specific questions about what you're going to be doing as a real estate syndicator. And, that person can really kind of help you propel faster. So I would say reaching out to people who have done this and try to join their group, provide some type of value to them that will really help you. Like I said, with my partner, he provided value that he could analyze the deals a lot faster than I could. That really helped me. Now we're basically going to partner on pretty much any deal that comes across our plate. Now, that was a guy that he had just started maybe a year or so ago. So it wasn't that long ago that he started in just doing single family and small apartments. And now we're going to be looking at a lot more sizable apartments. So, it's grown really fast for something like that just came along. So I think it could be done with anybody. Just find that person and provide value to that person as soon as you've educated yourself.
What about the meetup? How's the meetup helped you in growing your business? Would you advise that for somebody that's just getting started?
Yeah, joining a meetup has been great. I've been running my meetup since for about a year now. Last December I started it, and I run a meetup that's in Los Angeles. It's actually now expanded to 3 chapters. So there's 3 different areas that we run. We meet 3 times a month, and it's just growing. And that's a great way to be in front of a lot of people and to meet a lot of different people, to just really expand your network of people that are interested in multifamily. Now you can either join meetups that are happening, or you can start one yourself. Both ways are great avenues to meet people that are in the business that potentially could be a mentor. Like I said, when I met my partner, he joined my meetup. He just was a attendee for my meetup. So you never know who you could partner with, right? And now, like I said, our partnership is very strong. We're looking forward to what we have in the future. But that's a great way to reach out to people and to really kind of, expand your network.
What's the number one thing that's contributed to your success?
I would say the best thing the number one thing for contributing to success for me is taking action. You really got to take action, and that is the action to your one thing, to what it is that is going to propel you forward. So not only going to a meetup, but actually talking to the people at the meetup and then following up with them for coffee or for lunch or something like that at the meetup. But analyzing deal, reaching out to a broker, not just talking to a broker once and I call the broker, but you got to continue follow up with that. What we talked about before, follow up with the broker, take action, and really continually take action. I mean, that's got to be, for me, the number one thing.
Awesome. So Powell, you've been a great guest. Would you tell the listeners how they can get in touch with you and learn more about your business?
Absolutely. People can go to my website. It's www.platinumequitypartners.com. So platinumequitypartners.com. On there, I have a place where you can book a call with me for 30 minutes. And it's just basically anywhere where we can talk about anything involving real estate. So people call me and just ask questions, and we just talk about, maybe a deal you have, or maybe, questions about how to choose a market or how to raise money or things like that. Just a nice, easy chat. And, there's nothing to be sold or anything. It's just a nice, easy way to talk about real estate, and I'm happy to do so.
Sounds like an open door to me. It's just somebody that's looking to get started. So I challenge the listeners to take action and take Powell up on the opportunity to talk to him and schedule a call and pick his brain and ask questions about the next steps.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, thanks
Powell
again, Powell, for being on the show. And I thank the listeners for being with us today. I hope you'll go to the Facebook group and join so you can interact with experts like Powell and we can learn and grow our business together. I hope you'll go to my website also and schedule a call so we can talk and I can help you as well if possible. So, and we will talk to each of you tomorrow.
Thank you, Whitney. Appreciate your time.
I want to tell you about an upcoming real estate investing conference hosted by my good friend, Joe Fairless. Every February, Joe brings his best ever conference to Denver, which brings together the top high-level experienced real estate speakers and sponsors that has proven to be the best ever networking, content, and strategies to help grow your portfolio. The earlier you buy, the more you save. Ticket prices increase weekly, so you want to buy today. I attended in 2018, and I can guarantee you do not want to miss this conference. February 22nd and 23rd, 2019 in Denver. Go to besteverconference.com to reserve your seat today. That's besteverconference.com and use hashtag Whitney to save 10%. That's hashtag Whitney.
Thank you for listening to the Real Estate Syndication Show, brought to you by LifeBridge Capital. LifeBridge Capital works with investors nationwide to invest in real estate, while also donating 50% of its profits to assist parents who are committing to adoption. LifeBridge Capital, making a difference, one investor and one child at a time. Connect online at www.lifebridgecapital.com for free material and videos to further your success.